I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And anybody who's running short is going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come out.
I have you in the Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4.
It's fine, chill out, man. It's fine, it's just a fire starter.
Komm, Leute, redet miteinander.
15 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Don't die. Guys, 15 seconds, don't die. Guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Dar, CT, yellow.
Okay, go to Charlie, see if we can get it there. To your left, there's a... Sorry,
So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pocken,
Mediums be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on OP barrel. Wire our strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the Griffin. Get the Griffin. Woo! Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. That was such a That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance, you guys in Charlie. Lance, you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Jetzt in die Breite, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurz Aufschaltung, Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Mediums einleiten, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line. C4 Tactical Hill, boys. Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, haben 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right. Charlie on the left, Charlie, a Hellbringer on the left. Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out. Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV cool shot. Here they come, they're pushing hard, guys. Deco. Tez on. Go. Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3. Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin. Well, you cross it then, get in their face. They got a highlighter, they just push up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta. Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this. Full pressure, guys, full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3. Get the fucking arm, Jackson.
Jackson, cool shot.
Golf. I got him.
Go, B3, go.
Echo, go.
Get over on your mediums, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow. God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill. I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family. To the paper doll. Make sure you guys are shooting the correct legs. Be careful of the collisions. I don't want to hear complaints about it. Work around it. Let's play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And anybody who's running short is going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come out.
I have you in the Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4.
It's fine, chill out, man. It's fine, it's just a fire starter.
Komm, Leute, redet miteinander.
15 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Don't die. Guys, 15 seconds, don't die. Guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Dar, CT, yellow.
Okay, go to Charlie soon. Get it there.
To your left, there's a... So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pockens,
Mediums, be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on OP barrels. Wire our strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over. Overheating is bad. Both legs on the Griffin. Hit the Griffin.
Sorry about that. That was such a...
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance you guys in Charlie, Lance you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Jetzt in die Breite, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurze Aufschaltung, Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Mediums, ein Light, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right.
Charlie on the left, Charlie, Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out.
Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV cool shot.
Here they come, they're pushing hard, guys.
Decro. Tez on.
Go. Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3.
Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin.
We'll get cross it then. Get in their face. They got a highlighter, they just push up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta. Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this. Full pressure, guys. Full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3. Get the f***ing arm, Jackson.
Cool shot.
Golf. I got him.
Go, B3, go.
Echo. Get over on your medium, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow. God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill. I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family. Attention to the paper doll. Make sure you guys are shooting the correct legs. Be careful of the collisions. I don't want to hear complaints about it. Work around it. Let's play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And when anybody's running short, we're just going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come out.
I have you in the Griff.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us, right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4.
It's fine, chill the out, man. It's fine, it's just a 5-star.
Warum Leute redet miteinander?
15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't die. 15 seconds, don't die.
Guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Dar, CT, yellow. Okay, go to Charlie soon. Get it there.
To your left, there's a... Sorry. So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pockens,
Mediums, be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on OP barrels. Wire our strikes up.
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over. Overheating is bad. Both legs on the Griffin. Hit the Griffin.
Sorry about that. That was such a...
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance you guys in Charlie, Lance you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Jetzt in die Breite, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurz Aufschaltung, Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Medium sein, Leid, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox, Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right.
Charlie on the left, Charlie Hellbringer on the left.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Starting a little bit behind schedule right now because got some last-minute information from one of the teams and stuff, so got all that up. I think everything's good to go. I think we're kosher here and awesome. We're also trying something a little bit different in the back end to make things better for the MRBC admins to be able to host the VODs and stuff on their YouTube channel instead of me putting it on mine and then putting it out on Reddit and stuff. It's actually going to be natively hosted in the MRBC League YouTube channel right after it's the thing is completed. So I'll just be using that link and putting it out there and everything like that. So good stuff. Welcome to season 6, week 5 of MRBC North America. Shut up. I had such a weird start. We are going to be watching Flavor of the Month Gaming versus Death Watch Devil Brigade. We just watched Death Watch on Sunday, was that? It was a very good match against the Smoke Jays. They came out ahead of Smoke Jays 3-2, but it was a very well-fought match by both sides, very exciting to watch, and I'm kind of expecting to see something like that here too as well. Division B has been, as I said in my Reddit thread too, Division B has been fantastic. It's been the coolest matches to watch. It's been the closest matches to watch. It's been super exciting. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. In all of Division B, there's only been one 5-0 match. The rest of them has been 3-2s, 4-1s, a little bit of controversy here and there. It's been really exciting. Just trying to arrange to get my lobby invites and stuff. So we will be giving away premium time codes and Mech Bay as well. I'm gonna shoot to give those codes away after drop 1, drop 3, and at the end of the match. So make sure you guys stick around. I am going to be sending the codes from the MRBC Twitch channel now. I now have access to that actual account. So hopefully that streamlines some things. We were having some issues with people saying I didn't get my code, and it's because I was sending it from Bandit B17 and it was going into their other tab. So to make this easier, you guys should all, if you have not done already, follow MRBC League on Twitch. It'll make it so when I send you a code, it'll actually go to your inbox, and we won't have any confusions or anything like that. So definitely give us a follow for more than just the purpose of getting an award or prizes. It's because I am not the only shoutcaster that streams to this channel. Several shoutcasters use it, and that way you'll get notifications when any of the matches are happening. Like, I like to watch some when I'm at work and stuff, so it's kind of cool to have on in the background and everything. Watch the EU teams duke it out. So definitely give us a follow. I am Bandit B17, if you don't know already, from the Marine Mechs, and my co-caster tonight is MDM00 from the Marine Mechs as well. And you've been seeing him around a bunch, and he's been a fantastic addition to this, so definitely looking forward to getting started here. So let's jog around here and see if we can get through these two awesome teams before we get started here. Team 1 is Flavor of the Month Gaming. I've seen a lot from these guys. They're definitely having a lot of fun, and they're doing very well in Division B right now. So they've been making good showings. Everything's been super competitive, and we're going to see what they do here against Death Watch, see if they can pull out some wins. All of the teams are still so close to first place in Div B that it's anybody's game. Just a complete blowout from anybody could potentially turn the tides. I know Death Watch is currently closer to first place, and they are they're going to do their best to to get that first place, but FM could easily stand in the way and really push those guys back down and kind of take their place. So we'll see what can happen here. What do you think about this team here, MD?
Well, yeah, they've really kind of done a good job, I think. Kind of burst onto the competitive scene here with Division B MRBC play and doing a good job of it. They're currently, with 3 matches played on the tables, they're sitting just 5 games behind Deathwatch. So they have the opportunity tonight with a perfect round to come into basically a tie for second place, with Deathwatch. And they also are pretty active in some of the other leagues, MBT, for those of you who are interested in that as well, and really doing a lot this season, it feels like, and doing well so far. And like you said, Division B is so close. I'm looking at the tables right now, and Deathwatch is sitting 2 games behind SIG for first place. Flavor of the Month's just 5 games behind them, and Smoke Jays in 4th place are at 6 and 9 as well as Flavor of the Month. So they're 5 games behind second place as well. I mean, this is a really close division, and Flavor of the Month, if they want it, they've got the opportunity tonight to take advantage of that. They're playing a team above them, but they're still well within striking distance.
Absolutely. And then Team 2, we've got Deathwatch, Double Brigade. These guys, everybody's kind of watching these guys. They're pretty much on top at the moment. Not in terms of the current standings, because SIG is a game up on them, but this will put them equal in the number of games played. And, barring any massive blowout here, this should put them above SIG, potentially, but you never know. You should have an invite pending, I think, MD, if you haven't already. Cool. Pop on in. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see here. And honestly, the way Div B has been playing here, at the end of it, it's going to be really hard to see if things continue the way that MRBC handles it, where top team moves up, bottom team moves down in the divisions. I look at these teams, it's like, man, like everybody deserves to go up. I don't think anybody deserves to drop down. They're all playing at such a fantastic level right now that it would be a shame to see anybody drop down when they're so close like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, it all comes down to how many teams sign up next season and stuff. I mean, we may see these teams play each other again next season, and that will be a really fun watch. So, but...
Yeah, I mean, right now we're looking at Deathwatch, like you said, in second place, a game behind. Their magic number tonight is going to be 3. If they can get 3 wins, that will secure them first place with 4 matches played so far. But like you said, it's been so darn close, and Flavor of the Month, they've got the opportunity to kind of turn the tables and maybe take that second place away, so they're not going to be given anything easy to them.
Absolutely. So, on to match 1. We are back on the week 2 maps now, so we've gone through and we're doing them again. Mainly for teams that have 4 divisions. They have each team play each other twice, so they want to have each side of the map each turn around. This particular division has 5 teams in it, so they do have a bye week, but each team plays each other once. First map, River City. This is the light and medium brawl. 4 lights, 4 mediums, no heavies, no assaults. Maximum 2 inner sphere chassis, and throughout the match you'll see a maximum of 3 clan chassis, but no duplicate clans whatsoever. 2 of the mechs in this drop are required to have ECM. Doesn't matter if it's a medium or light, but it has to have ECM, and absolutely no strikes for the first 3 drops here. So this is River City. I mean, we could see anything here. I've seen range decks, I've seen brawl decks. Range doesn't necessarily work as well unless the teams are already pretty far apart, because it is easy to get your fast movers into position here. So it will definitely be interesting to see, are we going to see a really fast brawl right out of the gate? And I'm leaning towards that, but we'll see. And it looks like we are going to go ahead and get started. So, popping into River City, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, I would expect on River City, there's not necessarily a lot of places where one side can get the huge advantage in range, especially with the speed of these light decks. I'm expecting a brawl. I think what we've seen a lot of times when we see a ranged light deck is like HBG, where you can get on the walls and things. I just don't see that happening here, so we'll see how it plays out.
Absolutely. And we'll be having these mechs coming in on their drop ships, but ladies and gentlemen, we are nominal. Let's get underway.
And I'm gonna stick my foot in my mouth right here, taking a look at the drop deck for Death Watch, and they've got some 6Ks in there.
So we do have Death
have
Watch
some
in
range
red,
decks.
and we've got Flavor of the Month Gaming in blue.
Looks like Flavor of the Month is going with the standard brawl decks, blackjacks with the mediums, a lot of small pulse lasers, a small pulse SRM Stormcrow, and the small pulse Nova. This is a pure brawl deck.
And it looks to me like we've got some range mechs moving out into water here with the Wolverine 6K, the Trebuchet with large lasers, Stormcrow, another Wolverine 6K. So they've opted to drop their ECM on the Arctic Cheetah and the Raven 3L.
Yeah,
But
you know what? That's a ranged deck, except their clan mechs, both the Stormcrow and the Adder, are streak boats.
I see. So that's going to be
it's
kind of like an
mixed
initial grind down, followed by I guess a burst from their brawlers here. It's a very balanced deck, but balanced decks, they don't always work, but sometimes they do. I mean, we'll just have to see how well they play it. Will those range decks deal enough damage on the initial to warrant having a non-brawler instead of taking a small pulse build and things like? Will it work out for them? Really comes down to how they play it.
Now it looks like Death Watch has 2 lights kind of pushed up by the bridge. In theory, they should have gotten detection on Flavor of the Month, who are trying to move across the bridge into Upper City. I don't know if that's true or not, but I see this Arctic Cheetah looks like he's backing off, and the Firestarter's backing off, so they might have already gotten detection and are now heading back to join with their teammates.
Well, the direction that these guys opted to go, that's definitely going to give them the shortest distance to the guys in water. However, it looks to me like the guys in water are rotating. They don't want to stick around there. They want to put the most distance between them and their enemies. So they're either moving into a position to be able to fire down these lanes, or they're going to retreat over towards Citadel side on water. But we'll see. They're getting some initial shots in, but it's not doing much.
But it's not doing much, and really, Flavor of the Month should be pressing the advantage at this point. They're just giving Death Watch the opportunity to kind of extend some more range, get some shots in where they just can't trade. But Flavor of the Month seems kind of interested in taking the extremely long route rather than kind of using the buildings in that power plant as cover.
Well, they got 12 minutes remaining. They have time to talk it over, figure out how they want to do it.
That looks like what they're doing right now.
They can hit Death Watch wherever they decide to go. They haven't really taken, excess poke damage from the other team, so use the whole clock. I mean, I guarantee you they're not going to run this to a 0-0. That would be absolutely foolish. But they could, but with the division being so close, why would you ever? Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that.
It hurts.
So.
The thing that people forget is it hurts both teams, and with how close even Flavor of the Month is to, at their position in third place is definitely not out of the standings at all. So,
and they are being watched closely by the Death Watch light mechs here, who are stationed up over in Grove. They saw all the movement. They know where they are. But you know what? This isn't a standoff. This isn't Flavor of the Month wanting to bait Death Watch in. I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, they very well could, but I don't think that's what they're doing. I think right now they're conversing, they're discussing, they're trying to figure out what is the best way that we can get on these guys without taking too much initial damage or excess damage and things like that. So we're just going to have to ride along with them here, and when they make their decision, we'll see some movement and stuff. But stick around, and we'll see what they decide. I don't see this as being a team that's going to drag this out to a tie.
And Death Watch is sitting at a very good position for their range, right in the middle of the water. They're not committing to either side at this point. They're keeping their scouts on the Citadel to get some, hopefully,
they do have some movement here.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? They are moving up a little bit. Looks like they might be trying to get kind of in those buildings by the boat, this little jetty offshore platform.
So that delay, I mean, this might be working in their favor. Perhaps Death Watch thinks that they'll draw it out and that they need to commit. And you know what?
With 10 minutes to go, though, Death Watch cannot afford to be impatient in a mixed deck against a pure brawl.
Yeah.
And if Flavor of the Month's movement tells them anything at this point, their willingness to kind of hide and not even attempt to poke surely should communicate that they do not have range.
absolutely. But they are moving up into the city, it looks like, and they're going to try and get some of the initial trades here. But we'll see if FM reacts to that, and if they start moving in. Let's see what kind of angles they have here.
Their Wolverine is leading the pack for the medium mechs here. I don't know if that's a great decision. They've got 2 streak boats. You might want to have those guys be up the front. I mean, taking a Wolverine is...
I think that they're going to kind of set up. I think they're comfortable with the fact that they don't think Flavor's going to come bursting out yet, but shots have been fired in the back with the large lasers. FM knows that these guys have moved up now, which is a gift to them. It's definitely a gift to them. So will this negatively affect Deathwatch, or will they be able to put down the damage effectively? We'll have to see. This might still go all right for them. Well, they're definitely putting pressure on FM. I think that they're lining up around the corner. They're getting ready to go.
Yeah, they're gonna get.
This is gonna get really hot, really quick. That Jenner's caught out though, taking some extra damage.
Yeah, he is. And this Arctic Cheetah's gonna go cut him off around the corner if he's not careful. And there it is. That was a good shot by that Arctic Cheetah, down to 86% already.
He looks like he's
and
committing to that Jenner.
his teammates aren't willing to back him up, yeah.
Yeah, well, it'd be silly for them to go for the Cheetah, but that Jenner needs to go, man.
Wolverine needs to be very careful. This Wolverine is way too far forward at this point.
They're just saying, you know what, bring it. We know you're there, bring it. Let's brawl. Come on, let's brawl. The 6K can brawl. The 6K can brawl. It might not be the optimal brawl deck, but here we go.
Here they go. Oh, man.
We're going to slam into it like frickin' Vikings or some shit. Jesus. Here we go.
Hits on the Nova, but the first streak volleys miss.
Now, Deathwatch kind of spread out here. It's going to be tough for them to focus. They're all over the place. They're going for the Raven as the initial. Everybody's congregating on the Raven, but the lights have gone back for the Wolverine. They're putting some damage out, but that Nova is taking a lot of initial fire.
And those streaks aren't focusing on light mechs. Those streak mechs really need to get those lights down. That's what they're there for.
So Deathwatch is doing a good job kind of backing up here. Nobody's died yet, but somebody's about to drop.
Yeah, Hexadecimator and that Nova is at 32%. We got the Jenner at 37%. And the Raven for Deathwatch is down to 47%. These teams are really beat up for no one having dropped yet.
Hexadecimator has died in the Nova.
Surprising.
But yeah, there's just very little focus on both sides right now. Everybody's just shooting at whatever they can. Everybody's spread out throughout the entire battlefield.
Now for Flavor of the Month, a Firestarter and a Nova. Let's see if they 3 down now.
They need to pick the correct target, and they need to get on them. There goes there's 4 down now for Flavor of the Month Gaming. So that was just a good job by...
Well, 2 down now for Deathwatch, but it's 5-2. It doesn't look like Flavor of the Month's going to be able to pull this one back. They've still got those streak boats up, and that's just really going to hurt them.
I think what worked against them here is Deathwatch spread out in the city, and Flavor of the Month kind of went right into the middle, and they hit them from all angles. And then instead of Flavor kind of crashing into one side... It's almost like they split into 3 or 4 different skirmishes, and while they did quite a bit of damage, they weren't able to finish anything that they were hitting. Mm-hmm. So that was rough.
Stormcrow did almost 500 damage, 2 kills. That's a pure streak Stormcrow. You just can't afford in a light drop to leave those guys alive. And the Streak Adder did 366 for the second highest damage on the team. That's just too costly. And, really for Flavor of the Month, you're right. They got into the situation I think they would have liked to have been in. A very short run into a at least partially brawl team, without taking too much fire, but they didn't seem to have the focus that they needed. And especially as soon as they recognized streaks were on the field, those mechs should have gone down. And I think that really, to have both streak mechs still be alive at the end of a match is tough. It's hard to win that way in a light brawl like that.
Absolutely, and well fought by both teams though. They duked it out for sure, but ultimately Deathwatch, they set the trap. And we're talking about range deck, but those Wolverines can do quite a bit of damage. They're sturdy. They can hold their own in that situation if they protect the arm, or even if those legs, the big legs, they're easy to hit, but I'm pretty sure that they have quite a bit of structure in them. They can deal out the damage they need to before ultimately going down, and we can't sell them too short. Plus, they had the Streak Boat, they had the Streak Adder. So they did have brawl capabilities in addition to their light mechs. And those Wolverines, they obviously did their job. And what was it, a trebuchet was the other one? Large laser treb? They pulled their weight. I mean, they came for ranged, but that you can't discount the fact that they're able to do that close range damage if need be. But they kept their distance enough that they were able to deal multiple angles damage as FM just crashed right into the center. And that's really what I think worked against them here. So let's see if I can get this replay started here.
I agree with you 100%. It was they had the opportunity. They were essentially, like I said, I think they were right with where they wanted the enemy team. I mean, in the city where you should be able to push one side or the other, especially with how Deathwatch kind of spread out, you should be able to push one side and maybe get those buildings between you and the rest of their teammates and get a couple seconds where you're 8-on-4 or something. And it just seemed like Deathwatch spread out and Response for Flavor of the Month spread out, and Deathwatch was just able to win the smaller battles. So an interesting start. I can't tell you the last time I've seen really an engagement like that on River City, but just well played by Deathwatch there.
Absolutely. I mean, there was good focus. They didn't shy away from the fight. They went in to play. They didn't panic. They said, all right, we'll fight them wherever they want to go then. And they got ballsy as hell with that Wolverine coming right up into their faces saying, bring it on, let's go. He's peeking a left peek with a right arm. Doesn't even matter. Bring it on. That Jenner here, I'm showing in the replay, taking a lot of excess damage at the beginning because he got kind of cut off from the rest of his team. Yeah. He spent too much time focusing on that one Arctic Cheetah. And I'm not sure if this is a result of the most recent patch, if it helped the Jenner's hitboxes enough to warrant bringing that Jenner to this fight. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily speculate on why they brought a Jenner, but that was a lot of initial damage on him. To the point where he probably wasn't able to effectively do what he wanted to for the rest of the brawl here. But we're looking through here. FM's kind of all over the place. They sent their lights out to the left. They got streaks shooting out to the right. They got main body in the middle, but all hitting different targets. And they're dealing damage, but it's almost, there's one mech at 100% and one at 92. The rest of them are like 88, 74, 75, 68, one at 47, 61. They're hitting every single Deathwatch mech instead of focusing on one target and bringing him down. And the whole time this is happening, Hexadecimator goes down, Mr. Binary is about to go down, Poisoner goes down. I mean, it was just purely a focus win for Deathwatch. Even if they were, I guess we could say, at a disadvantage in terms of tech, they were at an advantage in their focus, and it really took them far.
Yeah, and I think maybe at the beginning of the match, both teams almost, it felt like both teams won. It felt like Flavor of the Month seemed surprised that Wolverine was there. I mean, I know I would have been seeing that Wolverine come around the corner. But I think at the beginning of the match, the beginning of the engagement, I think both teams were a little bit disorganized. I felt like some of the Flavor of the Month guys had been trying to get better positions and maybe weren't ready to receive a push at that point. Or, sorry, some of the Deathwatch guys were trying to get better positions, weren't maybe ready to receive that push. But clearly, the first
and the damage spread is fantastic.
The damage spread was very good. But just looking at the first 30 minutes of that match, for a little bit there, both of us remarked on the fact that no one had lost a mech, and it was like, wow, usually by this point, boom, the first guy's down. But it certainly looked like if that was the case, maybe they weren't necessarily ready for it. Neither team was necessarily organized at the very initial push. Deathwatch clearly pulled it back together, focused up, and got the kills as they needed it. Unfortunately, Flavor of the Month wasn't able to do so. But those light brawls, when they get on you, they're usually over before you even notice.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do our first giveaway. We're gonna do an we're going to do a 1-day premium time code. So in chat, type !raffle to enter the raffle for a chance at 1-day premium time code. It will make it so much easier on you guys if you follow MRBC League on Twitch, because when I send that code to you, it will properly end up in your inbox instead of going into basically the junk folder. So give us a follow. You should be doing that anyways because you'll keep up on the action and stuff, but go ahead and put the exclamation point raffle into chat, and we'll be doing another giveaway after drop 3 and another one at the end of the match. Go ahead and open that up now. Good stuff. So we're moving up into drop 2 now.
Yep.
Drop 2 is on Canyon Network. We've got 2 lights, 4 mediums, 2 heavies, maximum of 1 inner sphere chassis. So basically, no duplicates except for you can have 2 duplicates. So you could have, 2 of the same medium, maybe, 2 of the same heavy, and then no duplicates on the rest of the mechs. So that's your choice what you want to do. So if you wanted to do 2 fire starters, you'd have your individual mechs elsewhere. So a little bit of customization available there. I wouldn't doubt to see if they're going to go brawl here, we'll see a cheetah, we'll see a fire starter. That's pretty common. But it is possible to do another mixed deck here for Deathwatch. They're obviously proved that they're very capable of doing these poke decks in a brawl situation and carrying their weight. So we might see something similar from them here with a little bit heavier tech, but that remains to be seen. Canyon Network, you can kind of approach your enemy in the canyons. I've seen a full jump jet deck do very well here because you can go up and over, up and over, and up and over to close the gap, while trying to remain in relative, safety down in the canyons. But really comes down to who plays it better, who lands their shots better. So we'll have to see what these 2 teams decide to do.
Yeah, Canyon is rapidly becoming one of my more favorite competitive maps, if for nothing else because there's kind of a more of a range of option than maybe a lot of maps present. Like you said, you can go that full jump jet deck, try and do a brawl, sneak up through the canyons and pop up over the ridge on a range deck that might be sitting back at some ridge somewhere, or you can do range, sit on the ridge, or if Deathwatch wants to bring that mixed deck again, you have some guys sitting kind of back in the ridge and maybe some guys in the canyon behind some of the hills. There's a lot of things you can do with it, and there's not a lot of places that you say are a certain movement. You will always see someone here or there. There's some maps where that's pretty much the case. We know now HPG basically on a light drop, you're always going to see a team on the wall doing range or something like that, or almost always. Canyon, I don't feel that there's that much restriction on where you can do. There's kind of a lot of different ways you can play it. And that makes it kind of fun to watch.
And choosing one deck over the other doesn't necessarily screw you, because it all comes down to how you use that deck. If you bring Brawler, are you going to just run straight at him and get shredded up? Or are you going to, use your cover appropriately, move fast, move effectively, move together? Or if you bring a range deck, are you going to just stand in a place where they can approach you under cover and then you're going to be brawled to death? Or are you going to set it up so you have even nice sight lines, nice firing lanes, and things like that down whatever avenue they might come at you, So we'll see what happens here, and we very well may see 2 range decks going at it on Canyon, which is definitely a possibility as well. Or we could see 2 brawlers and just smash at Theta or something like that. Yeah. We'll have to see.
Now, we have seen some very good matches before on Canyon, especially with this second drop where it's a little bit lighter still, 4 mediums, 2 lights, and 2 heavies. Some very good movement can happen on this map as well. Moving along the canyons, trying to sneak up on someone, or just moving along the ridgeline, trying to stay in a good range position where you won't engage a brawl deck. You certainly, it's not like we're running 8 assaults here. You can certainly get a lot of good movement, and that also kind of adds to that level of the strategy and the in-game strategy being so important. And again, one of the most important things that you'll always find in competitive is the scouting. Knowing where the enemy is, what they're doing, what their composition is so important for those last-second decisions on what your strategy is going to be.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's hop in and take a look at what these guys decide to do. So the blue team should be Flavor of the Month, red team should be Deathwatch. Popping into Canyon Network, let's see what kind of decks they got. Hitting all the buttons. zones.
Take a look here at, we'll start with Flavor of the Month once it gets out of the drop deck. Looks like they've got a couple 6Ks with them. They might be doing a mixed deck as well. As we mentioned before, 6Ks can brawl some, but it's not necessarily a pure brawler. Mm-hmm. And they are the large laser 6Ks.
It looks, okay, we're going now. So I'm seeing a lot of large lasers and stuff, not necessarily super long range, but Enforcer 4R. I mean, they're going to go medium range deck. It's definitely brawl capable, but they definitely can do range on Canyon Network effectively here.
Yeah, it looks like they've also brought Stormcrow with pulse lasers, a Timberwolf with medium lasers and Gauss, and a Grasshopper with 3 large pulse lasers, 2 mediums. It's kind of a fun build.
Oh, those medium lasers are out of range. They're not touching each other much with those. But the Timberwolf did get a Gauss shot in, and he's landing some of these shots right now.
It looks like Deathwatch also went with a medium range poke brawl deck. A lot of large lasers and mediums.
So far, a lot of mechs are at 100% for Deathwatch. Just now, a couple of them are taking some damage, but so far, Deathwatch is doing a little bit more of a trade than FM is. Ooh, they got somebody caught off over here. The Trebuchet's taking a lot of extra damage.
Pounded, and it looks like Flavor of the Month wants to take this into a brawl. I don't think they want to mess around.
They don't want to mess around.
And they've got Deathwatch a little split. They've got some guys that went across the bridge, across the canyon.
They're catching them in movement right now. Yeah. They're jumping on that cheetah. Let's see if the Firestarter and the cheetah can melt him down. Taking him out of the fight quick would be huge.
Taking him out of the fight, and a lot of the Deathwatch mechs are still in the canyon. That Timberwolf hasn't been able to get out of the canyon yet, and if he's not careful, he's going to be the next one.
So far, a lot of damage being dealt to Deathwatch mechs here. FM is doing a very good job pounding them, and they're jumping on the Timberwolf and the cheetah down in the pit here now.
Yeah, Deathwatch really needs to get up here and support this Timberwolf.
Oh man, this Timberwolf is being sacrificed at this point. There's no way they can help him. So that's huge, awesome start for FM. Let's see if they can carry that momentum into the remaining mechs who are moving down the line trying to get distance here. Grasshopper is kind of being left behind and taking a lot of extra damage in the back there and not able to return fire. He's down to 45% on that backside. A lot of extra damage that he probably wished he could move a little bit quicker.
The light mechs here for Deathwatch are really beat up. Their Arctic Cheetah's at 32%, the Firestarter's at 70%.
They were not able to capitalize on that Cheetah at all. I mean, he's hurt, but they weren't able to finish the job. But they're continuing this hard push into the canyon, chasing down the Firestarter, just not allowing him to retreat in peace. They're just continuing to put the fire down. They don't want these guys to be able to get range on them.
Some very, very beat up mechs for both teams, but it doesn't look like Deathwatch is able to focus fire here. Flavor of the Month's doing a good job keeping some of their beat up mechs out of the line of fire long enough so that they're not being engaged, and it's really helping them out because they've got a lot of damaged mechs, but they've still got the advantage here. 1 kill up.
This is a kind of a hard place to trade from, and the Blackjack does go down. The Blackjack goes down for Flavor of the Month, but the Cheetah goes down over on Deathwatch side. It's getting to that point where, And
now 3 down for Deathwatch.
A lot of FM mechs are very hurt at this point. But 3 Deathwatch mechs are down. The rest of them are pretty decent percentage, but the Quick Draw is taking the brunt of it from the behind right now. He's getting pounded from the side.
Damaged mechs, and one of them goes down.
We're even up 3-3.
Oh, 3-4. There it goes. Flavor of the Month had the 2 most damaged mechs on their team kind of in the backfield trying to do some damage from the rear. Unfortunately, it looked like Deathwatch was able to back off a little bit and take those mechs out, and it gave them the advantage. It's now 5-3.
Yeah, and things are starting to go negative for FM. I mean, once again, FM did a lot of damage here, and they kept on the pressure very well, but, Deathwatch had a lot of, not fresh mechs, but high percentage mechs, when FM, most of their mechs were pretty cored out and pretty damaged. So a lot of damage spread, but it got down to the point where one well-placed shot will kill somebody. And ultimately, at the end here, Deathwatch was able to put their stuff on target more effectively and finish the job. So, I mean, it was very close, though. The scoreboard here does not do it justice. Just the pure amount of damage across the board here. This is insane.
Now, I'd love to go back to that last engagement at Theta there on that hill, because it looked like a great strategy from Flavor of the Month. They had 2 mechs at 30% that still had their weapons, and they sat them away from that hill back on like kind of the C4 side of the things. I think that's C4 over there. Kind of back towards the spawn point, and we're getting some great damage from behind right when Flavor of the Month was engaging at that hill, coming up from the ramp, and then it looked like Deathwatch was able to pull back just a little bit and buy themselves maybe 10 seconds, if that, of time. And in those 10 seconds, they were able to hit those 2 mechs down at 30% and just knock them off the map. And from that point, it turned. And I think really the only difference in that game was that they got that maybe 10 seconds of a little bit of a break from the guys on the other side of Theta, where if Flavor of the Month had continued that hard push that they'd done all match, I think they wouldn't have had the chance to get those mechs down in the back, and getting hit from 2 sides there, that might have been the turning point. But that just goes to show how close has this division be, that even all the maps, I mean, 10 seconds, I think, is the difference between winning and losing there. And this Division B has been crazy.
It really did kind of feel like FM's charge did stall out there a little bit once Deathwatch was able to move up into Theta, and then Deathwatch was able to turn around and make their stand. And they had a little bit more cover to work with. They got their guys down on the ramp, so they had any option on that ramp to peek from and duck back into. And ultimately, I think that it was much harder to trade from the canyon side that FM had. Harder to trade there into Theta as a team than it was for Deathwatch to trade back. And even though they did have kind of a flanking maneuver, Deathwatch, their guys down in that ramp were able to essentially ignore the guys rushing up on their left side and just focus down those last 2 very weak ranged mechs on the canyon side. And once they were dispatched, it was all over. They were able to swarm over the remaining
Another
mechs.
thing to keep in mind, the trading that they were doing at Theta for Flavor of the Month from that ramp, on these medium decks, the mechs, a Stormcrow, to some extent, but certainly the Wolverines especially, those arms aren't necessarily high-mounted weapons. And they're trading from that ramp, which isn't really that low, but they've got to trade up that little hill at Theta, and that's also kind of a little bit of cover. Just trying to shoot up, make sure your weapons clear that little bump there, might have given them an advantage as well. One of everyone's favorite mechs on Canyon tend to be high-mounted weapon points, so you can peek some of those little hills and ridges. But with a mech like the Wolverine, it's hard to push up or hard to toss up a Wolverine for, like, say, a Shadowhawk 2K. But you almost wonder if maybe they'd had a little bit higher mounted weapon points or some jump jet mechs. Maybe they could have had a better time trading from that ramp right at Theta.
So I've jumped back into the replay now, right when FM is essentially going in strong, and they were able to catch that cheetah and that Timberwolf down in the pit there. One of the things that I think really kind of cost them is they weren't able to seal the deal on that cheetah in a timely manner. They had many opportunities to. I think most of their ranged mechs were focusing on shooting across the way at Deathwatch to kind of keep them at bay. But they really needed to get a little bit more, taking out that Timberwolf, which was essentially completely cut off. They needed to get their guys up to the edge and shooting at him, because the time it took to kill that Timberwolf, him and the cheetah alone were dealing so much damage to FM. So that those 2 guys, I mean, they were screwed, but they did their jobs, and they tanked as well as possible. And a little bit more focus from FM. Even if FM just dumped all of their guys into the canyon, they could have taken those 2 guys on and wouldn't have been able to take fire from the rest of Deathwatch. I think that's what they needed to do to decrease the incoming damage and still go up 2 mechs right off the bat. But they did have their guys kind of hanging back and trading still. And then they did ultimately get them down there. They did kill the Timberwolf. The cheetah gets away. Then they have to turn around and they have to charge again. Deathwatch successfully moved all the way back up to Theta. And the charge then kind of stalled out. It ran out of gas for FM, and everybody's so hurt that you can't do those big aggressive movements anymore without killing yourself. The amount of damage that Grasshopper took, because he opted to stay back and trade instead of joining the feeding
really
frenzy
painful
on the Timberwolf, that had to have been like 30% of his mech getting shredded down without being able to return a single shot. He needed to move a lot sooner than that. Being caught that far in the back, it cost him dearly. And so he ended up, I think he was one of the 2 mechs that were trading from that side there. I can't really see very well on my screen, but, I think he was one of the guys over there.
Definitely, I think the last mech coming across there, and he took a pounding for being that last one. Yep. But you're right, and that's something that I think doesn't get enough credit in this game. Maybe in the competitive scene, certainly, but just in a general sense, sometimes you hear about players saying, "Well, I lost all my weapons," or what do I do now, sort of thing. And one of the more important things I think that gets underrated, certainly not competitively and among the good competitive teams, Division B teams like these and up, is the ability to tank, to spread damage, to just eat as much fire and essentially distract the enemy for as long as possible, because the more time they're shooting you, if you're going to die anyway, but the longer they have to do it to get you, the longer.
And it's not about necessarily about how much damage you deal in return. I mean, that's just a bonus. Every bit of damage you can deal while you're dying is huge.
Yep.
But as we saw, I think if I had to give an invisible medal to somebody from a prior match, it would be Tolson.
You can't.
Well, I'm not going to, because I don't have invisible medals like you do, because you're freaking insane. But if I did, it would have been Tolson in several of those Smoke Jays drops that we've watched. He's the one that somehow, in his Timberwolf specifically, I'm pretty sure it's always a Timberwolf, and the Timberwolf is a very tough mech, but he is the guy that I've seen take that mech consistently below 20% before finally dying. And the amount of time that people are spending trying to finish him off, their team's losing 2 mechs, 3 mechs, 4 mechs, and then he finally dies. That is a tank. And he does that very effectively. He's the only person I've seen so far that's really stuck out to me as being a consistent tank when he is the guy that's under fire. And so I guess a little shout out to him. He's probably not even watching because he's not in this match, obviously. But that's the kind of stuff that we see is that we saw that Timberwolf down in that pit. They were kind of half on him, and he got mechs down to like 40% with him and the cheetah, So then you have the added benefit of it takes forever to kill him, and he's dealing damage. That's a double victory for him, big time.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in, especially with the Timberwolf. I mean, if you leave the guy alive, those things can put out massive amounts of damage, but they're also so darn hard to kill. It's certainly why you always see those mechs in competitive play. But you're right, and like we said, I think it's something that might be a little underrated, and it really shouldn't be. The longer you can stay alive, even if you don't have any weapons, the longer you can stay alive, as long as you're taking fire, you're doing your job, and you're helping your team. So, credit to them, and credit to the 2 light pilots, that Arctic Cheetah and that Firestarter. If I was that Arctic Cheetah, how beat up, he got in that first engagement when Flavor of the Month really pushed on him and kind of really caught him out of in a bad situation, I would have bugged out of there so fast. But you know what? That Firestarter and that Cheetah, after the Timberwolf went down, stayed engaged, and I think kind of, again, tangled up some of these Flavor of the Month mechs, trying to slow down that push because they were coming on hard. And they, Deathwatch desperately needed to stop that push because they were getting run up so quickly, and they were almost a little disorganized. Some guys for Deathwatch were moving out a little quicker or a little slower, and it was really, that push was a bad situation for them to be in. But those 2 light pilots, took one for the team there, and did what they could to slow that down, and the Timberwolf certainly was a big help as well. So, but credit to them for doing that, and credit for Flavor of the Month. That was, when's the last time we've seen a push that hard? I mean, that was a hard push, and
it was a
really
sustained push too. It was
push.
such a long run, and they were putting the damage out. I mean, that was not a stomp. The scoreboard does not do it justice. Yeah. I mean, what was it, 8-2? I think ultimately.
8-2, but when it's 8-2 and
everybody's down to 30% health, I mean, oh my god, that could have gone either way. And that's the kind of thing where a single mistake can end up being a win or a loss, or meaning a win or a loss.
And that's why I come back to those 5-10 seconds, that final stall. on that push. You know, if they just had a little bit more in the tank to keep coming on that hill, even as beat up as they were, I think if they had taken the pressure off those two mechs that were so beat up in the back, you know, they still had their guns. You see it on the replay now. They're firing, but just, you know, it was here comes that push right here. They're trading, you know, they've got them going up, and now they've got those two mechs in the back, engaging from the side, taking away the retreat, the cover for Death Watch, and it's what they need. But now Death Watch right now on the stream, they're pulling back, and it's, you know, gives them the opportunity to bring them down. Flavor of the Month just took their foot off the gas, so second too early, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it when you look at your mech and it's hanging on by a thread, it kind of puts a little bit of fear into you where you don't want to continue those hard push throughs and stuff. It really does. It's not necessarily that they stalled because they made a mistake, but sometimes you look at it and it's like, I can't peek anymore. I can't do that mad rush. I'm going to get shredded and killed. And then you got to go back and look at, okay, what could we have done better a little bit sooner so I didn't end up getting to this point. And it's tough, but hopefully you guys can come back and use this footage and take a look at what we saw, and then maybe that can help you guys in the future, especially for next season.
Yeah, and man, they're so close. Like I said, I think just another couple seconds of that push, and
that's Div B, man. That's Division B.
Yeah,
it's been so fun to watch. You know, the scoreboard doesn't do it justice. It's just being there and watching it. It's exciting. This is exciting Mech Warrior that we're watching here. So drop 3, we're moving into the Commander Assassination match. No lights on this whatsoever, so we won't have the advantage of having light scouts.
Yep.
But we will have 3 mediums, 4 heavies, and an assault. The assault has to be the Zeus mech. It has to be a Zeus. Maximum of 2 inner sphere chassis, so they can basically have a duplicate of each mech, except for clans, of course, and still no strikes here. So HPG manifold, but no lights. What do you think we're going to see here? I doubt we're going to see something up on the wall. It's possible, but that Zeus is going to really get kind of caught out.
I think we're going to still see at least one team go range. It's pretty popular on HPG, but I think you'll probably see a mid-level engagement, right? Kind of not right on the top of that of HPG, right in the center, because I think that's, unfortunately, with the hitboxes and things up there, it's not a great position to be in. But around that middle level, where those ramps are and things, tends to be a pretty popular place to kind of peek, engage from. You know, if you've got right or left mounted weapons, kind of peek around that corner. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, I've gotten so used to seeing HPG for the light brawl, where you've got all these light mechs, you know, Ravens and things running up to the tops and jumping from you know, wall to wall sort of thing, that it's like, man, I mean, he's not gonna. I
mean, we might still see a Shadowcat here. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of Shadowcats.
But I'm going to be surprised if I see someone take a Zeus up there or something. So,
there are places where the Zeus can climb effectively, but once he's up there, his options are so limited because you can't jump across the gate to get to that big center meaty section. You're kind of forced to move along the outside, and there's no cover up there, so you really need to have your entire team backing you up. But it is possible, but at the same time, the timing, if memory serves, you have to be in Bravo lands to be able to get up there with Zeus, and that means 4 of your mechs are across the map and need to join you, and the time it takes them to join you, it may not work in your favor.
Even
you
if
can
they're
get
mediums,
shredded.
That's tough.
It's very tough to get there in time. I mean, you can cut through the center, but if the other team's going brawl, they'll catch up to you and they'll knock you down. Or you could go the safe way around the outside, but you're doubling the amount of time it takes to get there. And that whole time, your Zeus could be in a ranged deck fight against the other team, and you really don't know what the other team's going to have until you've already made that decision. That's a drop time decision to say this lance is going this way. So it could go well, it could go terrible. It's hard to say.
Something else to remember about the Zeus is that the Zeus does not have good high weapon points, which is something I think you want for peeking wall engagements and things, where your cover is essentially just backing up on the wall. The Zeus is a big mech, and it's got arm-mounted weapons, so if you're going to go range...
Doesn't the Zeus have torso lasers, though? but they're still kind of
They're
belly
still
height.
arm level. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the arm
not
level
it's not
height.
a great
But that's
timing.
that's actually even worse for them because they
Yeah.
can't arm down. They don't have the actuators on their torso to be able to aim down far enough. So if they get right underneath you, you're combat ineffective until they come up to you or you move further down the wall.
Yeah, basically, so that's why if you take a ranged Zeus, you want to be fighting on a level plane approximately with the enemy. That's why I think if we do see range, we'll see it on the middle where you can peek the corners and things, because you can do that with the Zeus, but you certainly would have a much harder time peeking the wall without exposing just way too much of your mech.
And once again, we will be doing another premium time giveaway after this drop, so stay tuned.
Yep.
So both teams are entering lobby. So we'll see hopefully soon what these guys decide to do. It looks to me, for the most part here, that they're splitting up Alpha Charlie. Just kind of a sneak preview for you guys. If they continue with that, that means all 8 mechs, or most of their mechs, will be starting on the same side of the map, but opposite of the other team. So they won't be at a 90-degree angle from the center ring or anything like that.
Yeah, and one more thing I'll point out to add a little bit of intrigue to this match. As we talked about in the opening, with 2 wins so far, Deathwatch is now sitting 1 win away from taking first place in Division B. So this is their magic number is 3 for tonight, and just gives you an idea of how close this division has been. So if they can pick up a win right now, they'll be sitting in first place.
I'm sure they want it too, especially with we don't even know what the prizes are for division winners yet, but you want to be in the position where you can find out instead of another team. So Deathwatch wants this and they want it bad. So
oh yeah.
They're gonna push for this really hard here. So SIG has already fought all of their matches. They're chillaxing and in first place, but they're probably watching this saying, "Come on." They're probably like, "Go Flavor of the Month. You're number one."
Take a poll and chat and see how many SIG members we've got watching right now with us.
That's got to be intense, but obviously things aren't looking too good for them right now. But we've seen teams come back from a deficit before and win out. It's very possible, and especially with how close these are going, you can't make room for getting frustrated this early in the game because it's so easy when they're this close to just improve on something, and start winning. And we've seen this before, and it could very well happen here.
Now, Deathwatch will officially hate me if this does happen, but I will point out that Deathwatch was down 2-0 in last week's games and managed to win the last 3. Now they are up 2-0.
Uh-oh.
So, there's
not sure
kiss of death.
Not sure if that translates exactly, but we'll see.
SIG is cheering me on, and Deathwatch is going to be looking for me in game. So,
all right, we are in game. Let's go take a look. We got a single lone mech over here in a Stormcrow. What kind of build is he in that he's all by himself? Goss and ER Larges, Stormcrow. I think they might go up on the wall. This is Deathwatch we're looking at right now.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at...
He's in Bravo, and this isn't the side that can go up, though.
Looks like mostly range deck.
What is this guy doing?
Yeah, a full range deck here for Flavor of the Month.
Oh, you know what he's doing? He's setting up to just poke anything that comes out of the door. He wants to put those larges and the
and he's
Goss
not going to get the opportunity. They're not going out the door right now. So he's going to be the first one.
But you know what? He's providing that information to his team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've got Deathwatch lining up on the back of the moon base over here. So both teams are taking big distance here with their... I think they're both range.
Yeah, we're definitely got range build. Pure range for Flavor of the Month. Let's take a look at Deathwatch. I would assume they're running range lining up.
We got 5 SSs, yeah.
And we can confirm
Timber,
that.
Hellbringer,
Yeah.
Wolverine 6K. So they're in a nice big arc back here. We're going to have ourselves a little bit of a standoff. What the hell is that? There's like this big thing under the map. Monolith or something. I've never looked down here before. That's creepy. Oh, what is Flavor of the Month doing over here?
Yeah, we got Flavor of the Month. Looks like they're setting up on the back wall as well. Both teams following identical strategies, it looks like. Lining up in the backfield. clearly do not want to be the first team to kind of have to push into a ranged firing line.
Well, I think let's go ahead and, since we got 13 minutes, let's make a prediction. My prediction is Deathwatch is gonna say, "Well, fuck that." Oh wow, okay. Well, I guess that went way quicker than I thought.
By Bandit, because Deathwatch is already moving out of the gate, so don't listen too much to him.
They're gonna say, "Fuck this. We did this before on drop 1. Let's just go and let's out trade them." I think they're confident in their skills right now that they can dispatch the enemy effectively. We might even see a little bit of trading from center because they got some really tall mechs back there. The Stormcrow already doing a little bit of work.
I think they want that positioned, and you know what? From center, I think they might be able to see some of these.
Yeah, they already took some shots at some of those mechs.
Yeah, some fires going across now. Some of those Timberwolf and the Hellbringer for Flavor of the Month trying to engage, and they've got the range at this point.
Let's take a look at some of these, the cockpit here, just how difficult some of these shots are to make from that extreme distance. It's definitely, I think, easier for Deathwatch to make these shots because the other FM is kind of superimposed on a white background. Well, Deathwatch is, in now, black.
This is a great look over here. If you come get your spectator camera, I wish I could show you.
To where?
At the beginning, over where Flavor of the Month was. Deathwatch was trying to shoot him with some of their large lasers, and you could see the laser beam stopping.
Oh, yeah.
Where it hit them. This is really extreme
range stuff. Definitely.
Scratching the paint at best here. Worst mech damage at 98%. I think anyone would take that. So
they'll take what they can get with this much time remaining, though. That's for sure. The 5 SSs, I think, definitely have an advantage here. I don't know. Well, both teams have them. So they both have those extreme ranges. I'm sure one of them is wishing they had a 4X right now, because that would really come in handy here, just to wear them down or at least suppress one of the teams.
Deathwatch is not messing around again. They are forming on the gate to enter into that area where Flavor of the Month is back there. Let's see if Flavor of the Month responds by setting up a firing line to get down that gate. Really, they have the opportunity to do so. That's a straight shot from that gate through the back wall. So, they really... it looks like they're not going to do so, but they would have a great opportunity if that was the case. And there's the Zeus and
we got some initial trading over here.
Walked around the corner trading, but he doesn't have
Deathwatch is kind of doing a little bit of a power position move where they're just bringing everybody together. Every time one of those mechs peaks, they got another 6 of them shooting back at them.
And here comes Flavor of the Month. They are responding.
Lagging! We were just talking about that in chat, too. This last week has been atrocious with private lobby lag, and we just saw it there. Somebody was asking whether or not spectators get that, and we just saw it right there. And that, it's not everybody that lags every time. Holy cow, this is a lot of laser fire.
Thunderbolt 5SS just took a pounding. He's down to 69%, and the Zeus just lost a component at 75%. Let's take a look at what components he just lost there.
This is an amazing amount of fire back and forth here. Deathwatch kind of stacking up on the wall, just being able to get everybody in that firing line. But you know what? The FM is doing the same thing. This is an incredible light show here.
Flavor of the Month is doing a really good job getting some of these mechs up high, so that they've got mechs down low and mechs up high, able to trade from a very tight corner.
And Deathwatch is doing the same thing. I think they would be served better getting their 5 SSs in the back instead of the Hellbringer, though.
Yeah.
Just to really use that optimal range to the best of their ability. But just a crazy amount of fire back and forth. But it looks to me like Flavor of the Month is kind of getting the short end of the stick here.
Here's H. Bizzle, and his Thunderbolt is cored out orange CT. Got a cored out shoulder. He's really not able to peek anymore. He's got to play it from the farthest back position, Flavor of the Month. And, I said their Zeus lost a component, but
they're kind of rotating out.
A cheap arm, so he's doing all right. But
Deathwatch is just continuing to put the pressure on. They're not letting these guys get away. They're getting no reprieve whatsoever. So while they are returning fire, they are taking an immense amount of fire. And really, Deathwatch is controlling the pace of this battle. They're playing that corner so tight, though. They're playing that corner so tight as they rotate in. They're not allowing too many mechs to return fire. Yep. That is huge.
The Thunderbolt. Flavor of the Month has lost their first Thunderbolt. They've got Stormcrow just went down. It's now 2-0. I think Deathwatch is going to start putting the pressure on really hard now at this point.
And you can tell Flavor is just starting to fall apart. They're breaking ranks.
Yeah, there's
the Hexadecimator is stuck on the wall.
Yeah,
that sucks for him.
Trouble.
But if anybody is going to take anything away from this, if you're looking like what are good teams doing, Deathwatch played that corner so tight. When we show it in the replay, they were stacked up very well. They were all able to get their lasers to bear, and they were playing it so incredibly tight that as Flavor of the Month started to kind of retreat around the corner, every mech they left behind got shredded down. And just from as soon as the FM started that movement, that's when it's really started to fall apart. The initial trades, I think, maybe putting the longer range mechs up on top would have served him a little bit better. I don't think that the Hellbringer was able to deal quite as much. We'll see what his damage looks like at the end. But, putting the right mechs in the right place, I think, would have helped there. And I want to say the 5SSs for Deathwatch were in the backfield, because it does have the quirks that give it that extra range. And that's it. 8-0. But once again, lots of damage dealt to Deathwatch, but only to a couple targets. This one definitely was not quite as close. But just well done by Deathwatch. That was probably the most one-sided match we've seen so far. And we definitely going to have to go back to the replay and show that again, because there was a lot of flavor on that one.
Well, you know what? Absurdity in the Hellbringer for Deathwatch did 500 damage top score in the match, so he was clearly pulling his weight there. Just really a really good job with the power position, with trading from that corner, rotating back to get some of your less damaged mechs up to the front there. And Flavor of the Month just wasn't able to compete with that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do our second giveaway. Type ! raffle into chat for a chance at a 1 day premium time code. If you have not done so already, follow MRBC League's Twitch channel, because that will make it so when I send you the code, if you're the winner, it'll go into your inbox instead of like the spam folder. So give us a follow. It'll definitely help you in the long run, because the other way I was doing it, lots of people were like, where's my code, even though I sent it. So give us a follow. Type ! raffle into chat for a chance at a 1 day premium time code.
Yeah, so that might have been one of the most one-sided matches so far I think I've even seen in any Division B match. I mean, and certainly not the most one-sided match we've seen out of all the ones we've shoutcasted. That's absolutely certain. But again, just goes to show how close these divisions have been. But at this point, with 3 wins so far tonight, that would put Deathwatch at 14 wins for the season, passing SIG's 13 wins for first place there.
Congratulations. Now, is there any way if Smoke Jays or SWK gets a 5-0 stomp somehow, is there any way that either of them could take first at this point, or are they going to fall just short?
Although let me clarify now.
Oh, there's that leg again. I'm just showing it right there.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, right now I'm making all these statements based off wins. So one of the things to keep in mind is that MRBC wins obviously matter, but there's some other factors that go into the scoring, and the scoring is ultimately decided by C-bills. So, the results could be slightly different than what I'm saying. It's just easy for me to look at the table and do wins and not have to do math.
What a light show this was, though. That was some incredible trading right there. And you can see the 5SSs in the back for Deathwatch. I think that helped them a little bit, just to have the longer range as their back mech. It might have been intentional, it might not have been, who knows, but they were definitely putting their stuff on target, and they were putting it on target effectively. I don't want to say that FM spread too much, because they had some of those mechs down pretty low. But because they were kind of in the retreat, it's a lot harder for them to take a weaker mech out of the action and put a stronger mech in the front when they're the ones basically being forced back. But look here how tightly Deathwatch plays this corner. I try to keep up with the corner. And, you've got FM mechs taking steps to the right, cooling down. Yeah. And the whole time this is happening, look at that line. It's just so tight. And they're able to just basically pick and choose. They're not they're focusing on one target, but they're not committing to that target. They're taking the most visible target. All of them are hitting the same target, and then the next visible target, all of them are hitting him. So it takes a little while for the deaths to start coming in, but those percentages are dropping. And when you've got 8 mechs pouring it on one single target, that's just demoralizing for that mech. The amount of damage that guy took, it's so hard to stand your ground against that. And here it's basically collapsed at this point, and this is clean up here. But that's what I wanted you guys to see. In fact, you know what? Let's go watch that one more time here, because we know what happened here.
Yeah.
Let's go look at those frickin' Doritos there.
Is impressive.
This is why I'm using YouTube for the instant replays, because I can do this. But just frickin' gorgeous right there. Right there. Just, oh man. And just the amount of fire they're putting downfield. They're stacked so they can all bring their weapons to bear. Yep. They're putting it out. That is how you play a corner right there. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm talking these guys up, but that's good gameplay. That is good, solid gameplay right there. And that definitely contributed to this being not nearly as close as the last 2 matches.
Yeah. And a beautiful use in HPG, something that you don't often get the opportunity to use, is the hills all lining the outside of those spawn points. Like you said, they use those hills to stack their mechs vertically rather than horizontally, so that they could expose just a single line and still have 4 or 5 mechs shooting at the same time, because they're all stacked up vertically, and they didn't have to do any sort of siege tower, stack all mechs with jump jets and jump on top of each other's heads sort of thing to do it.
Absolutely. And, both teams were doing that. It's just the Deathwatch, being the aggressors, they were able to control the pace of the battle. And I really think that's why it ultimately went in their favor. Because they were able to just keep the pressure on. They were able to choose how far back, which the last mech that they want to shoot at is, So that guy gets punished. He bolts to the side. Now this guy gets punished. He bolts to the side. And you're just kind of continuing that, and FM is no longer able to bring all of their weapons equally to bear, and that's when you just see it start. The percentages drop only on one team. So, still exciting to watch, though. I mean, it was one-sided, but that was such a light show, and you gotta give props to quality gameplay there with Deathwatch. And like I said, I was going to make a prediction that Deathwatch was going to be the aggressor, and they did it. They weren't going to do a standoff.
Well, yeah, they certainly going for the win there. And the one thing with MRBC and their draw rules and how it punishes both teams, when basically by that point, I think, unfortunately for Flavor of the Month, it kind of hurt their chances at really making a run for the upper ranks in the division, while they certainly have a chance to secure a solid 3rd place at this point. It hurts them less than Deathwatch, who's going to take 1st place. So Deathwatch certainly, I think, recognized that and went for the aggressor. But at this point, all bets are off. It remains to see whether they're comfortable with their 1-game lead, or whether they want to push it a little further.
Tolson's in the channel. Somebody told him I was talking him up. It's pretty funny. One of the biggest challenges on my side was finding matches and stuff. A lot of teams like to play all on the same day, so it makes it tough. Yeah. I've been trying to cast not necessarily as many matches as I can, but I've been trying to cast as many quality matches that I know are going to be close. And I think that every match we've watched so far has been exciting. So I could not be happier with the choices I've made so far. So that's been cool, and I was really happy to see that these guys were going to be playing tonight. I had no clue this match was going to happen until today, when somebody sent me a message saying, hey, are you going to cast this one? Because it's going to be kind of important, for 1st place. And I'm like, there's a match today? Like, oh my god, because they didn't put it in the schedule on MRBC, but apparently they scheduled this a month ago in the forums, and since I didn't see that, pop up or anything, I didn't chase it. But after the person messaged me, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna cast this. That's awesome. I've been trying to get as much experience shoutcasting as possible, and it's been fun to watch it. It's been fun to be on our perspective, and I've learned a lot too as a drop commander and as a player. I've learned a lot watching all these different teams. Even,
Yep.
I'm learning stuff from Div C teams where they've got something that works for them, and seeing them do that, and we can translate that and maybe try something a little different. Maybe it's a mech that we don't use all the time that maybe we should try that out, Stuff like that. So it's been fantastic. I've been super excited to be a part of this, and I thank all you guys for coming out and watching us. I hope we're entertaining. Definitely, if you guys got any feedback, let us know so we can, improve. This is officially my 8th shoutcast, official shoutcast for MRBC. I've done some little side job stuff and maybe like an NBT one, but this is my 8th MRBC shoutcast. All of them are available on the MRBC website in their shoutcast section, their commentary section. So if you guys want to watch some of those excellent matches, I think they've all been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, there have been some really, really good matches we've seen. And just a side note for Bandit, please direct all poor criticism to Bandit.
You're pointing the wrong way again, man.
Poor criticism to Bandit. And any good stuff you can send to me. It's all right.
That's fine. So, but it's been great. So, we got a little bit of time here. We should probably talk about this next drop. How about that? Drop 4, flank engagement. This is the 2-2-2-2 match. So 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults. No duplicates whatsoever on this. So we're going to be watching for that because we've had a little bit of controversy in the past from not necessarily these teams, but teams in the past have made mistakes. Even very good, high tier teams have made this mistake. So it's everybody knows the rules at this point, but you get in the flow of things, and sometimes you miss that note on your spreadsheet, and I'm guilty of it too. So, but we'll be watching for that. Hopefully things go smoothly. Don't need any redrops or anything like that. But this is the first map that strikes will be allowed on. But we will be fighting in Frozen City Night, which traditionally is a more brawly map, but as we've seen, those medium-range decks can definitely go far. A lot of poke, a lot of work in those corners. There's a lot more corners to work here, but, if you're, stationed up tactical hill and just trade better than the other team until it devolves into a brawl and those initial shots just compound and start losing mechs because of it, that's, we can see some of that here, or we might see just a straight-up brawl charge. Brawl charges sometimes end up with more mechs lost on either side instead of it being an 8-0 decision like we just saw. That's my experience anytime. When it gets down and dirty, mechs on both sides typically fall. But Deathwatch, they've secured first place as far as we know, tentatively. I don't think they care necessarily how many kills Flavor of the Month gets, but honestly, from what we've seen so far, I think Flavor of the Month is almost begging for Deathwatch to brawl them. I think they seem like they need that to be able to be to come out ahead here. They want the brawl. You can tell they really want the brawl to happen because that might be their strong point, and Deathwatch is not giving them that benefit. So looks like we're heading in.
I'll cross my fingers for brawl. I do enjoy seeing a good brawl every once in a while. And if you're going to do it, this is a nice cold map. It's certainly the time to do it.
Do the drawing after this one. Let's go take a look. The night version of Frozen City doesn't have as many visibility issues as the normal one. So I'm over by Deathwatch right now. I got Wolverine 6K. Blackjack 1X, that's a nice medium range, very strong mech, kind of a glass cannon with the XL engine. Most of them usually bring XLs in that, from my experience. But massive damage output. It really is a glass cannon. Direwolf, King Crab, Quadruple O, Timber C, 5SS. Let's see what the build on this 5SS is. I'm willing to bet medium pulse.
It is.
Yep. So they are coming for the... not just brawl, because I don't see as many small pulses, but they're going for medium laser, just poke them down style. So we'll see where they decide to move.
Flavor of the Month is a mostly brawl. They've got a Blackjack. They've got a full brawl Stormcrow. They've got that triple large pulse laser battle master.
Oh, Psychoholic's got to get out of there quick. I don't know if he's being tracked or not, but he did get out and he got the UAV up. So smart movement by him. He knows where the enemy is now, and he got out in time. Didn't take a single bit of damage. Here. Flavor of the Month is definitely moving over saddle, and we've got Deathwatch kind of hanging out in the back. They're gonna let their ranged mechs kind of do the talking at the start here. Was that a dual Gauss Crab?
That was a dual Gauss Crab, and I think he hit that Hellbringer. It's already down to 90% after that initial engagement. I think.
He's got
really
ER large too, I think.
Let's take a look at this Hellbringer, see how he took the damage there.
Oh, got some strikes on both times. That Crab's going to take a strike right on the top of his noggin here. Let's see if it does much damage. Down to 94 from a single strike. Not terrible, but it compounds. Let's go in and take a look at some of this trading here. Let's look at... that left-handed peek from Inkball. That's rough.
It looks like
the Hellbringer's getting kind of beaten up here.
Yeah, he's getting beat up there.
He's regretting that peek right there. He stepped out a little bit far and took a lot of extra damage that I don't think he wanted to take. So that's going to put him a little bit further in the back here, and he's going to have to let his team do some of the talking now.
Now, I'd love to see a little more aggressiveness out of Flavor of the Month. They're in a more brawl deck. They've been trying to...
And they're losing the poke deck. They're losing the pokes
really
bad.
Losing this poke deck, yeah.
So
their Hellbringer's beat up now. Their Battle Master, which is a really powerful mech, already at 58%. He's cored CT, and a mech goes down.
The Bear Claw and the Cheetah went down.
Looks like they're trying to push the right side, though. They've got a little bit of brawl going, but there goes the Battle Master. I think just waited a little too long. Oh, sorry, the Banshee. Banshee went down, not the Battle Master.
And they're just kind of charging through, but this looks like this might end up as another 8-0 in favor of Deathwatch here. So
really strung out here on this push.
That seemed kind of to me like the push of Christ, let's just get it over with kind of thing, because there wasn't much purpose in that. The initial pokes, they were losing the initial pokes. I really think that they needed to just go in aggressively from the start. They might have thought that they could trade, but when you see the dual Gauss ER large from the King Crab, I mean, you can't trade against that. You have to go.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, and with their deck, I mean, they had a Stormcrow that was small pulse SRMs.
Oh, brutal,
and,
man.
Their most ranged mech, I think, was the Hellbringer, which is a medium laser Gauss build, which certainly is a good mid-range poke mech, but not 1 against 8. Not in that situation. You're right. I think they pushed over the saddle aggressive. They got into the buildings, and then they stopped, and that cost them. And that last push really did feel like a let's just get this over with sort of push.
And I was saying, you can't lose heart even if you're down. I've been in this position before, and I've lost heart before. It's so hard to stay motivated at that point. It is very tough, and so I can't fault them for it, but you really can't lose heart, because then the rest of these end up being kind of throwaways, and that's tough. It's a tough position to be in, but is it just me, or did some of those guys have 6 ping? Did you see that? I swear to God, some of those guys had 6 ping. How the hell? But I digress. Let me go ahead and pick the winner from... Jesus. NF Given. NF Given, you have not followed us yet. It will make it easier to send you the code.
And we'll like you a little more. I'll like you a little more. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Unfortunately, sometimes it is a little easy to lose heart if you're not having a great night. If you know, especially if you know that you might be a little more capable than what you've shown, or you've made some mistakes. Sometimes you can get down on yourself, and anyone does, sort of thing. And you just gotta sometimes you just gotta fight through it. And there are times when I think you bring a full brawl deck and you kind of say, to heck with it, full speed ahead, let's go get them, and if we win, we win.
And those are going to be some fun drops, too.
And those sometimes be some fun drops, and it seems like that's something that Flavor of the Month might want to consider doing. And so you get the added bonus of, it might be the strategy you want to use anyway, to go along with the fact that, it might kind of help combat some of the unfortunate side effects of maybe not having your best night in a match that means so much. We've all been there, we've all been in a match where, it's a really important match and you're really excited and you come out and you run into a building and get shot and do 10 damage and you feel like you let the team down, and it's hard. It's hard to bounce back from that, especially, if you're just, like I said, if it kind of compounds, it feels worse. But really just gotta fight through it. Gotta sometimes say, to heck with it. We're gonna go out here and try and do our best. Try and have some fun, And at the very least, even if you can't win the division, you can either fight for pride, or you can say, we're going to learn something from this. We're going to practice. We're going to get better, and next season we're going to get after it that much harder. So there's always that positive attitude that you got to try and take to the matches. I know it's hard to do. We've all been there, but just something I think everyone should kind of work towards. It'll help. It'll help you in the long run, to say the least.
Yeah. And, if anything, push to make it so this isn't the second, 5-0. But, even if it turns out to be a 5-0, it kind of makes sense for it to happen to Death Watch, because they were the only one to get the 5-0 before, and they are currently in first place. So I guess that would be kind of up to expectations for it to happen. Nothing against Flavor, but if anyone was going to score a 5-0, just based on the performance we've seen and the performance we've seen in the past, I think it couldn't happen to a better team there. So they really deserve it, and they deserve to take... at this point, I'm pretty sure unless anything crazy happens, they deserve first place. And I guess congratulations go out to Death Watch unofficially winning Division B at this point.
Yeah, and you're right. It makes sense that the best team in the division will have the best matches. That's kind of that's kind of how it's supposed to work. So, not trying to take anything away from Flavor of the Month, they had a tough draw. When it's always tough when you're playing the best team in the division. They're the best for a reason, especially this late in the season. They're the best because they've been beating everyone else. So nothing to take away from Flavor of the Month here. For
and they fought very well too.
Very hard.
They fought hard. This is a tough team to be against. Having that be your last match, you've been preparing for this for the whole season basically, but it's tough to come out ahead against a team that's playing this tight. And they, Death Watch made some mistakes last week, and they seem determined not to make those kind of mistakes again.
Yeah, that's a good point. We saw some plays by Death Watch that were very questionable. Maybe not their best performance. I think, having watched them a couple times now, I feel pretty confident saying last week was not their best performance, but they must have gotten together, worked on it, kind of talked it out, and they've really... This is the best that I've seen them play so far this season. So, kudos to them. They really came out, and unfortunately, that also happens sometimes. You not only running up against the best team, but maybe they had a tough week last week, so they're that much more focused this week, and you kind of run into a buzzsaw. And there's not much you can do about that other than try and give it your best shot and play hard and have fun.
It's crazy to think back to those first two drops, like how close they were.
Oh, they were so close.
If FM came out ahead on those, could that have completely changed the tone of this match? Not necessarily just because we wouldn't be congratulating Death Watch already, but I feel like even on this last match on Frozen City, I want to say they would have played it differently if they were still in the match. Coming away from a good first and second, maybe dropping third, who knows? But would that have really influenced their current performance to the point where we might be looking at another even match here? But we got to look back at the drop 1 and drop 2 and how close those were. Those were very close. I mean, that was well played by both teams, and we saw a mistake or two that swung it in one direction over the other. You guys got to look back. You got to look at those and say, what can we do better next time? And it's going to take you guys so far next season. You should not be disheartened by this whatsoever. You guys are going to do very good. You're a very good team. and you deserve to be in Division B. And I think next season, if you get placed in years, you have a very good chance at winning it next season. So, and maybe we'll end up seeing you next season. Woo! We're not going to be in Div A anymore, I hope.
The important thing, I think, is if you can point to a match and say, this one thing right here is the difference between winning and losing, you're close. You only got one thing to fix, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a match and you say, man, that was just disorganized or it just wasn't a good match or whatever, you got a little more ways to go. So those first two matches, and I think personally, and Div B has been like the running argument against my belief here. This is my personal opinion. But I think your performance early on in the match can have a very strong effect on later on. I think there is that momentum factor of riding a couple wins, through the match. You might play a little better, the other team might play a little worse, get a little frustrated. Obviously in Div B we've seen so many 3-2, matches and things that.
But that's another skill that you can take into consideration. You got skill of accurate aim, skill of situational awareness, skill of battlefield mentality or knowledge, and then the skill of being able to shrug off the losses and go hard every time. And it may not necessarily be each pilot that needs that, but maybe somebody's rallying. And those ones where we saw the comebacks, it's like, dudes, we got this. It was so close. Let's just fix it. Let's do it. And, maybe somebody needs a cheerleader. Who knows? It's hard to say, but we've seen firsthand in these shoutcasts how a team can come back from a bad deficit and ultimately, win it, essentially. So, that's something that I think needs to be worked on. If people are arguing with each other, I don't know what's going on in their channel right now. I can just speculate. And if any of you guys are in here and you want to say what kind of the attitude was or what you guys are thinking, I mean, feel free to provide us that insight, or don't. It doesn't matter. It's fine. But is that kind of is the attitude just damn it, we had it and shit, and if that's the case, that's something you guys can work on for next season, is how do we come back from a deficit? How can we get back into the fight? How can we shrug off the losses, learn from them, definitely learn from them, but how can we come back and come back strong and stuff? And as we saw in the I would say third drop and fourth drop, it just really started to fall apart, and it could have been that. It could have just been Death Watch was strengthened by their wins, that they are let's do it. We're one more away from, first place. Let's do it. And maybe they came on even stronger, but, just firsthand experience of seeing a team get really negative and really pissed off and stuff, I can see how that really brings down individual, your skill cap drops when everybody's pissed. So, like I said, I don't know what's going on, but, that's something that every team in competitive anything can work on to try and become better, because losses happen. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everyone's human, and losses happen, and can you come back from that into the next drop and come back strong? So let's they're finishing up on the lobby. It looks like we had some disconnects and stuff, but let's talk about drop 5 here. Mining Collective, we're rolling this is the assault drop, so we do have 2 light mechs now, but we have no mediums, 2 heavies, and 4 assaults. There's no duplicates except for 1. So you might see, 2 King Crabs or something like that. But that's it for the duplicates. And there are strikes for this as well. So Mining Collective, we are dropping into it because I was talking way too long about, team attitude and stuff like that. But let's go in and take a look at what these guys do.
I would love to see a center brawl here with 4 assaults on both teams. Let's just see those big boys run right into the middle. See if we can't get some
Go out with a bang.
fun matches. Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at a Banshee 3M, 2 of them, a Direwolf, and an Executioner over here for Deathwatch. I don't see many Executioners in play in comp, so we'll see how he does. Let's watch it. I don't want to say that it was a bad pick at all, because they might use it fantastically, and it'll be exciting to watch. But Locust 1E and a Firestarter over here on the other side, and the Timber rolls out the 3rd Clan Mech, and a Thunderbolt 5SS. I'm willing to bet medium pulse, yes. So that's what we got over on Deathwatch side. What do you got over there?
Looks like definitely a brawl build. Seeing AC-20 on some assault mechs here. Direwolf with Clan Ultra AC-10s and lasers. That's pretty hard hitting stuff. They do have a Hellbringer medium laser. The quad AC-5 King Crabs, AC-20s. This is definitely a brawl deck here.
So
an interesting build. A single AC-20 and 3 large pulse on one of their King Crabs. I've not seen that build before.
Is it an asymmetrical build, maybe? Like he's going for corner peaks?
Yes, yeah, a corner peak sort of build.
Yeah, so Deathwatch is kind of plugging right down the B line here, and FM actually doubled back from the Echo line because they know which side their spawns are, and they're coming over and they're going to take a look. But we'll see if they get their scouts ahead first, or if they're going to take some long-range shots here. Kind of looks like Deathwatch is thinking about going up into tanks, maybe. But FM is coming right down the gut here. We're going to see some action pretty quick here.
Yeah, they are marching right through the
nasty choke point to be in if they get jumped on, but oh boy, Deathwatch is going single file right into FM. This might be bad for them.
I don't know if FM's going to get the shots on them in time because they've got just a couple corners to get around.
They might be able to cut off that Timberwolf if he doesn't back out of there quick, though. They could swarm him.
Yeah, and they got a beautiful artillery strike in that gap there. I think got some good hits on Deathwatch.
Oh, that Timberwolf is stuck on the wall, taking massive amounts of extra damage. That sucks for him. And he's still caught up in that choke point. He's just continuing to take fire, and down to 56% on the initial trades.
He just lost his Gauss rifle in that trade. That's gonna really hurt.
That's gonna hurt. So the Executioner is up on top, taking a little bit of poke damage. Doesn't have, kind of getting surrounded here. He can't back up too much farther without dropping off. Good strike there over on FM side. More strikes coming in right now.
Here comes FM marching right up over the top. It looks like they've got King Crab coming around the corner, and they are just pushing.
Here we go. It's about to get really hot in here. The Timberwolf is doing a good job kind of hiding, but if FM commits, they're going to swarm him.
King Crabs for FM is now down.
Banshee 3M down to 47% back here, but yeah, King Crab is down for FM.
Yeah. Deathwatch definitely is taking a ton of damage.
They stalled out again. They
yeah.
gotta go. I mean, they stalled out. I mean, they're trading, but I think if they kept going, it would have been much stronger in their favor. Because they got the Timberwolf back there.
Around the corner, but they just got to put some pressure.
Here goes the Timber. He's about to go down to that. Oh, the King Crab goes down first, though.
King Crab down. That's gonna hurt. And that Timber is still alive. I
can't believe he's still alive. 25%, and he does eventually go down.
Finally dies. Yeah.
I think that stall cost FM so much. They decided to go for the poke again, but they needed to keep going. They needed to swarm. They needed to use that momentum, and they kind of gave it up. Blackwatch is in the open. They don't have cover here, but they do have power position. And if you play poke against the power position, they were just pounding the lasers in, pounding the shots home. And that's one that I think really, really got away from FM. I mean, look at the damaged mechs over there. So goddamn close, man. That's one right there again.
Yeah.
They had to keep that pressure going.
39%, 51, 62, really beat up for Deathwatch,
and they had that initial trade on that Timberwolf, and he was able to just kind of chillax for a little bit, stay in cover, let the rest of his team do some of the work. You gotta go capitalize on that. And from where they were trading, and we'll see in the replay, I feel like they were only able to peak maybe 4 mechs at a time maximum, and they were kind of siphoning them in and out instead of coming in and bringing all eight mechs to bear. They allowed the Crab to kind of lead and ultimately get shredded down. Damn it, man, that was so close. And that's another one that, maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but that's my best assessment, is that stall out just cost them this match. I think they could have taken that one.
Yeah, I think they had the advantage. I think they caught Deathwatch trying to come through that gap and just smashed them there. They pushed Deathwatch back out of that gap. They had guys both on the right side, that little hill over with the tanks, and then they had guys coming straight through the choke point. And you're right, they just stalled. I think if they had pushed, they had the advantage. They certainly had the damage advantage right when they started that engagement. I think they were certainly up on damage. And you just had to get a little bit more out of them. Sometimes, and that's a tough thing to train because it's the one thing that does not translate well outside of competitive play is that, if you're getting your face pounded in by everyone on the enemy team, to continue to move forward under fire is something that in the public queue, you're not willing to do that, right? You want to move back a little bit, get into cover, take some of that heat off of you. But in the competitive queue, in that situation, you just have to keep pounding forward and dishing it out, as good as you get.
Especially with those DACA.
Yeah.
I mean, they had DACA.
Yeah, with the DACA builds.
And being able to pair that in with other mechs, like if they got the Hellbringer up front, if they got the Timber up front, things like that, you get the 5SS up front, soak some of that, and allow the DACA to do some work instead of being the first mech down.
Yeah.
I don't even think... Was Hexadecimator in the DACA too? He was the first one down in the quadruple O, or was that a Goss?
One of the crabs was an AC-20 large.
Oh, right. He's the asymmetrical build.
And one was a quad. And I don't remember which of the two went down first, to be honest. I think it was the AC-20. But again, that's such a mentality that gets ingrained to you playing the public queue.
And if he was in an asymmetrical build, his
Yeah.
instinct is to peek and not
Absolutely.
push. I don't even know if it's asym. I'm gonna have to watch here in the replay. But maybe he was playing a corner and he paid for it. I mean, he died first. He was probably trading pretty aggressively. But I bet you if we got into his mind, we'd probably be thinking he was wishing his team was being a little bit more aggressive, because if he was playing his corners tight and still getting rocked down, that's just the fact that the rest of his team wasn't committed to armor sharing with him, and he might have been doing a lot of work. I mean, I didn't get a chance to look at the scoreboard at the end there. He might have been doing a lot of work for his team, but everybody else needed to really come in. So in the instant replay, we can see the Timberwolf gets caught out and ultimately loses his Goss here. So Excellent start by FM on this one. Excellent start by FM. And you got that Executioner up on top. He's not really able to do too much. He can do a little bit of poke, but he's taking return fire. And then you got these 3 channels, these 3 ramps, or the 2 ramps and the 1 channel. And that's where they stall out ultimately. And I don't know if you can see here coming up what I see. It almost like there's a queue of mechs. It's like, get those guys in there, man.
Yeah, they're standing on that ramp ready to go, and they're just... hesitate.
So we've got 2 of them kind of co-peaking on each ramp, and then we've got the Firestarter runs into the battle, gets completely shredded. You got, I think, the Hellbringer in the back doing some loose peeking with, I guess, the other Arachita.
But at this point, you've already lost the 100-tonner. I mean, you've got that King Crab going down first really hurt. I mean, it's 100 tons right out of the fight.
I mean, ultimately... Deathwatch being able to bring all of their guns to bear all the time won out over FM, who was trying to preserve and do like a shoot peek.
Yeah.
I think being able to swarm them, using a little bit more of the armor sharing, and just getting all of their guns on the same target at the same time would have been key here.
Yep.
They did take 2, but... I mean, if you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing, it's just, instead of everybody kind of doing those tight peaks and shooting all different targets and stuff, just swarming that open area probably would have worked better for them, especially since they were up, too.
Yeah.
They were essentially up on damage.
Again, it's I think you're combating against competitive and non-competitive mentality. Competitive mentality is armor share, power positions.
I mean, there's always a reason sometimes. I mean, always a reason sometimes. I mean, there's a place for doing tight peaks, and this I don't feel like this is it, especially with such a brawly deck, brawl capabilities, and then against a team who's playing power position. You can't play whack-a-mole. You can't play whack-a-mole because they're shooting you every time you peek, so you're getting your 1 shot off to their 8. That we can't write the book on this. We can't write the book on this because it's always situational to the specific situation you're in. But in that situation, our best assessment is that whack-a-mole was not going to work, and that's what I got, really. I mean,
That was a good job of getting the word situation in the sentence 3 times. So, way to go there. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. It was that's, unfortunately, I think that's twice now we've seen at least twice now we've seen a hesitation be the direct decider in a battle. And, but you know what, at the same time, if you can identify that, then now you know what to work on. So you've at least narrowed down, here's something that we can improve on, and possibly, pick up 2 wins out of 5, just like that, just from improving on that one thing. So, a tough.
Another
loss
close
tonight
one, though,
for
man.
Flavor of the Month,
Another
but-
close one right
yeah.
there. I mean, they did bring it back. You could tell they brought it back. They got their attitude in the right place. Just one more mistake again to work on, I guess, to maybe come away with a win. So bring that into season 7 and play hard. You guys are right there. And well played by FM. Good season from you guys. Been very entertaining. But ultimately, first place is going to Death Watch. Congratulations to you guys. Excellent season. We'll see you again in season 7. Doing the raffle for the Mech Bay right now. It's been going for a little bit here, so we'll watch that and everything. But good job, guys. It was very fun to watch. Even with a 5-0 decision, 3 of those matches were incredibly close, and one of them that wasn't close was just so exciting to watch too that I do not regret shoutcasting this one bit.
No.
You guys were very entertaining, and thank you guys very much. Up on the docket here, we will be doing another shoutcast on Sunday. I'm not sure who my co-caster will be for that one, because I know I've gotten a lot of requests from other people who want to co-cast with me, so we'll try and get somebody other than MD in here. No offense to you, MD, but other people want a chance, I guess. You've been fantastic. Thanks for coming by.
That was the one tier.
The one tier.
I've been fired already.
Yeah, we had Radic in for one, and, it's...
I see how it is. Okay.
But Sunday, I think, is going to be our next one, and I'm looking to do a doubleheader. I'm waiting for some confirmations on schedules. The one match that I have locked down that we're definitely watching is going to be very exciting. Night Scorn versus Isengrim. I think that's 9 Eastern, maybe 9:30 Eastern. I'll check it in a little bit. But that's going to be a good one. This is for all the marbles in Division C. It's first place versus second place right there, so we will see what those 2 teams can do. That's definitely one where one mistake is going to send somebody packing, and somebody's going to come away with the win. So, definitely, that's going to be one to watch. Earlier in the day, there's a couple I'm watching. The one that I want to cast is Majestic 12 versus Star Wolves. I've seen some videos from Star Wolves, and they look like an exciting team to watch. And Majestic 12 is right up there with them. I think they have the exact same wins. I think they're basically perfect at this point on the league table. But that's going to be another fun one to watch. That's another first place versus second place match. I want to say Division D? Maybe E? I should really just fucking look.
It's Division D, Clan Widowmaker versus Star Wolves. No. Majestic 12 versus Star Wolves. So right now, sitting in Division D of Star Wolves with 3 matches played in second place. The Majestic 12 only has 2 matches recorded, but they are sitting in third place with those 2. First place is Clan Widowmaker with 4 matches recorded, but they are right on top of each other. And when they get those matches updated, I'm sure we'll probably see a little bit of movement in the top of that league. But
I think RRB has withdrawn, so RRB has withdrawn from the league. So everyone's going to have to go back to their league tables and update their scores. Basically, you get a perfect score if a team quits. Even if you've already played the match, you should be able to go back and do that, because RRB won 2 drops. I don't know who they won them against, but those 2 drops are basically overturned at this point. So check your stuff, but both teams poised to win it. So should be an excited match. So I'm waiting to
Yeah.
get confirmation on what time they're going to start. I think they wanted to do Sunday evening as well, and I'm trying to talk them into doing like, I guess 8 Eastern or 7 Eastern or something like that, sometime before the Isengrim match. And if that falls through, I think I'm going to ask Southern Cross Alliance versus 122nd Fire Force Infantry, first and second place in Division E. That looks like it would be another fun one to watch. So that'll be my tertiary if Star Wolves and Majestic 12 falls through. But should be a fun day of shoutcasting. Should be very fun matches, and hopefully you guys all come and watch, and hopefully we pick up some new people since it's going to be a much longer stream. But again, thank you guys all for coming by and watching. So let's go ahead and close out the raffle here.
So that'll be a nice way to finish up the season with a lot of first place matches to go.
Congratulations, Tolson! You are the winner of the Mech Bay.
Conspiracy. Let me go get my tinfoil
Rigged.
hat. So rigged.
Jesus. I swear to God, it's just a random selection. And that was a lot of people
Sure.
entering that one, too, so congratulations to Tolson.
Yep. Yeah, that congratulations to you, and
Yep,
yeah, I'm looking forward to those Sunday matches. I think they'll be pretty good.
definitely.
It's always fun when you get to watch the last week with a chance to win the division. I don't know if we've had that happen that often in MRBC. A lot of times, by the time you get to the final week, it's basically already decided.
It's cleanup, yeah. I mean, this has been very exciting for a lot of divisions. It hasn't necessarily been competitive across the board like Division B has. I mean, every match was great. But other divisions, though, having like it come down to the wire in week 5 has been super exciting. You know, you got those 2 top teams fighting it out, trying to get the prizes and stuff. So that's still going to be very fun to watch. So we'll definitely do that. Congratulations on the Mech Bay, Tolson. Hopefully we'll see you guys on Sunday. If you guys have any feedback for us, toss it our way. We love doing this. It's been fun. You bastard. Hopefully you guys have been entertained. Hopefully all the people that watch the VODs afterwards have been entertained. We actually get a hell of a lot more views on the YouTube channel than the amount of live viewers here. So that means a lot to me too, because people are definitely interested in seeing this. They're not necessarily just coming for the giveaways. Maybe if you're Kira, you are. But no, that's cool. I'm glad that we're being watched, and you know, maybe PGI will start paying attention to this stuff a little bit more too. I sent a message to Tina because week 6 is gonna be amazing. I want to pitch week 6 hard. I want them to say something in the public domain saying, "Hey, go watch this," because it's gonna be great. Week 6 for NA Division A. 228 versus Seraphim Rising Storm. That's going to be the match of the season, and we need to see that, and I want a lot of people there. I think it's going to be fantastic. So that'll be in a couple weeks here, but stay tuned. Same bat channel, same bat time, same bat channel, and today's drink is Crown Royal Apple on the rocks. I had to just slip that in there, but
Yeah.
thank you guys for coming by, and we'll see you later.
See you guys.
Pay attention to the paper doll. Make sure you guys are shooting the correct legs. Be careful of the collisions. I don't want to hear complaints about it. Work around it. Let's play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And when anybody's running short, is going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come out.
I have you in the Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us, right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4.
It's fine, chill the f*** out, man. It's fine, it's just a 5-starter.
Komm, Leute, redet miteinander.
15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't die.
Guys,
15 seconds, don't die.
guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Dar, CT yellow.
Okay, come to Julie, see if we can get a dire. To your left, there's a... Sorry, shit. So, jetzt gleich hinter die Indie-Pockets,
Mediums be prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on empty barrels. Why are our strikes up?
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the Griffin. Get the Griffin!
Sorry about that. That was such a
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance, you guys in Charlie. Lance, you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Jetzt in die Breite, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurz Aufschaltung Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Mediums einleiten, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line.
C4 Tactical Hill, boys.
Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right.
Charlie on the left, Charlie, a Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out.
Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV cool shot.
Hey, here they come, they're pushing hard, guys.
Deco. Tez on.
Go.
Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3. Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin.
Well, you cross it then. Get in their face. They got a highlighter, they just push up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta. Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this. Full pressure, guys. Full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3. Get the fucking arm, Jackson.
Jackson, cool shot. Golf. I got him. Go, B3, go. Echo, go.
Get over on your medium, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow.
God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill.
I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family.